Hi guys, Dr. Lester here today, and today I want to talk to you briefly about something that I am not super comfortable talking about, but I think that it's something that I need to address for a couple of reasons. I haven't addressed it before because it's, like I said, kind of uncomfortable, but also because I don't owe anyone a reason or an answer or any of that. But I have purpose here in this explanation, so I'm gonna go ahead and do it. And that conversation is about how I struggle with my weight. And I believe that this is a topic that's important for me to share with you because of the nutrition and stuff that I recommend, and as a healthcare provider and someone who talks to you, about your diet and your pain and, how we can make you healthier. I want you to understand where I'm coming from. And it's just super important, and it's hard to be taken seriously, or at least I think it's hard for you to take me seriously to some extent when I don't necessarily look like what I preach. That's really hard. Especially when I practice so far beyond what I preach to you. I give you little bits of things little changes, that you can start making, but where I'm at with it, I've been doing it for, a decade, and when I am more restrictive with my diet than, let's say, 95% of people that I know, and I am extremely active and all of these other things, like it's really hard. So today I was denied life insurance. I needed it for part of my business thing. And it was because of my weight. It's really frustrating because they didn't ask me how healthy I am or how often do I get sick, or how is my pain management, or what are the other conditions that I have, and how I'm managing them. They asked me, once upon a time, I had a physician recommend metformin for me, and I have struggled with high blood sugar, not high blood sugar, but pre-diabetes level, and no matter how much I don't eat sugar, it stays the same. It stays pre-diabetic, and that is frustrating. And of course, the medical answer for that is, we'll take metformin, and then it'll magically stop your blood sugar from rising, which is a friggin' Band-Aid. It doesn't stop why my blood sugar is high, and when your blood sugar is high, not because without eating simple carbs or many carbs at all, or without having excess sugar, there's a bigger picture than, the typical response to things, which is just, well, stop eating sugar, stop eating fried foods, Anyway, so they asked, well, why aren't you on metformin if, it would help manage your weight? And I'm like, you clearly don't understand some of this, because it doesn't. I've done that. Been there, done that. It doesn't. And I'm gonna backpedal here and tell you a little bit about what I've tried. I've tried everything that I can find. This is, for the record, not necessarily a pitch for, if you run a nutrition something, for you to or weight loss something for you to jump on board and give me all of your newest, unless it's something truly innovative, because I'm not just going to purchase into whatever, because I know what I'm talking about from experience. My master's in nutrition was actually fairly antiquated in terms of what I knew from experience, what I had learned the hard way. And anyways, I have tried, you know, all sorts of different types of working out and frequencies and all of the things. Doesn't make a dent. I have tried, not that working out is not good for you. I mean, all of these, they're good for you, but they're not necessarily the answers all of the time. And that's what I'm trying to get out here, is that this is more complicated than that. Okay? I have tried all of the workouts. I have tried all of the diets, all of the fads. I have had injections for things to help. I have had extreme pills for things that have, you know, blocked your or encouraged your satiety center, so where you don't feel hungry anymore, and you have to remind yourself to eat, you know, those kinds of things. And I've tried incredible different detoxes, and detoxes are great for you, don't get me wrong, but you know, that wasn't them telling me, oh, it's just this too much on your liver or too much on your kidney or whatever. If we do this detox, it'll fix it. This detox that costs you $1,600 or whatever. And it didn't. You know, that it wasn't that simple. I have tried, and by diet, I mean like long-term dietary changes, you know, like, but I've tried all of them, you know, and the things I ended up keeping, because I think that they're significant, are, first of all, going gluten and dairy free is pretty important for me, but really for anybody. Gluten and dairy are very, very, very toxic to our immune systems now, with all of the crap they put on them and whatnot. But for me, especially because I have Hashimoto's thyroiditis, an autoimmune condition that attacks my thyroid. So gluten and dairy free is obviously something I would highly recommend. And then on top of that, you know, limiting sugar intake, and I pretty much don't eat a lot of carbs anyways, because gluten-free kind of makes that a thing. But, you know, the carbs that you do eat obviously being complex carbs, but then beyond that, I think that your body doesn't need a ton of that. I really do think that from the research that I've done, that a much more carnivore, protein and fat diet, healthy fat diet, is really where it's at with a lot of it. I think that there is a balance, though it's not for everybody. I think that there are people that do really well with very plant-based diets, and I think it kind of depends on you and your system and where you're living and stuff like that. So for the most part, with a lot of those things, I think that, like, let's say, for example, you are super craving a salad, you know, but you're like, oh, well, I'm on this carnivore diet or keto or whatever. A salad, you're craving a salad for a reason, you know, like, I think that is a healthy option for you to grab. That's not going to hurt you in the long run. I know that there are a lot of avid carnivores that are, you know, not super happy with that because of lectins or leptins or, you know, whatever aflatoxins they want to talk about or whatever. But ultimately, I think that for the most part, the one fit diet is not for everybody. Anyways, so all of the diets I've tried just like pills and injections and clearing out parasites, like I had lots of parasites from traveling and stuff like that, but clearing out all sorts of parasites, healing my leaky gut because I had taken all of these antibiotics and all sorts of things and my gut was shot, you know, all of the things. And not to say that those things were for naught, because they weren't. I was in such an inflammatory state before I started those things, and my inflammation numbers in my blood work were through the roof, triple digits. And my doctor at the time had told me that they were the highest he'd ever seen in anybody, and I was like, well, I like to be impressive. But now, after having done all of that, my inflammation numbers are within normal range. Well, high normal, but within normal range, which is huge when they were through the roof, you know. And it had a lot to do with diet, and getting adjusted was a huge part of it. It helped with a lot of my pain management, and so much of that was really significant in making me feel better and getting off all of the medications that I was on. Because before this, you know, with medicine's answer, I had literally 20 medications that I was taking every day, multiple times a day, and I felt like crap. And I had medications for symptoms from other medications and all sorts of crap like that. And that's not an answer. That's a band-aid that's creating more problems, you know. And I can't even tell you how many doctors I went to, and I had 8 surgeries, you know, and spent hundreds of thousands of dollars trying to find answers from the medical community, you know. And I know that many of you can relate to that. And it's frustrating and it's heartbreaking. And I've had doctors look me in the face and say, like, oh, well, you just need to work out more. Or if you lost 50 pounds, you wouldn't have migraines anymore. You know, and it's just like, if I could, I would. You know, like I'm here spending literally $200 for you for an hour, and all you have to tell me is lose 50 pounds. Like, did you even hear what I said? You know? And I know that many of you have struggled like that. And it's really disheartening. And so the message that I'm trying to get across today, a little emotional about it, because it's very frustrating for me. The message I'm trying to get across today is that it's not always your fault. This is not a simple calories in, calories out, work out more, eat less equation. It never was. If it was, there wouldn't be a huge obesity epidemic, or there wouldn't be a huge weight loss market, you know. It's not that simple, and they're lying to you to tell you that it is. And it's heartbreaking because you see people struggle like me, who struggle so much, and I try so hard to be everything that I preach to you that I am, you know. It's not always your fault. If you know that there are things that you can do better, sure, there's always something you can do better, right? Because nutrition is always changing and nobody really knows. If I had the answers, I'd be a billionaire, you know? But the truth is nobody really knows. And we can try a bunch of different things to try and see what works and what doesn't. And piecemeal something for you together, because that's just really all it can be, you know. And I am grateful for all of the things that I did, because I am in so much less pain now. I still haven't figured out the weight thing, but my thyroid numbers have stayed in place for forever. My inflammation numbers are so much less. I can cope. I don't have migraines anymore. My pain is substantially better, you know, just all of these things that were so unbearable, and now they're okay. You know, now I can manage them. This is still a problem. I don't have all of the answers, but I have some, you know, and I can give you things that I know work, you know. Maybe they don't work exactly for you, but I have lots of alternatives, you know. But really what I want to tell you is, in the age of where there's a lot of people that are coming out that are bashing you for right now, especially in this with COVID and all of this, you know, where, you know, comorbidities and stuff like that, like obesity or being overweight or whatever, they really predispose you to things like this. What they're really saying is that these don't predispose you. These are the reason why you are actually able to, for these things to grab hold. So you ever ask, like, well, why is it that my immune system can't fight this virus? And the truth is because it's spread too thin. You know, you're fighting too many things. Your immune system can't deal with it, especially with a virus that has a 99.5% recovery rate. You know, so the reason that these things are such a comorbidity for these viruses and stuff like that is because our immune systems are so stressed. So why is my immune system stressed? What's stressing it? You know, I have an autoimmune condition. You know, I am definitely overweight, and I have inflammatory markers and chronic pain and all of these things that would suggest that I am vastly going in trouble if I get COVID, you know. But the fact is that's not true, because my immune system is very good in a lot of ways. And this is not necessarily a COVID talk, but the point I'm trying to make is we have got to start asking deeper questions. Why is my immune system spread too thin? How can I eliminate some things so it's not spread so thin, so I have more troops to go fight the virus or fight whatever bug, you know? And as I do that, what are the things that I can control and I can't control? You know, I mean, maybe it's not so much the type of oil you're putting in your car, but, you know, how much or whatever. Cars are probably not the best analogy for me. But my point is that there's a whole variety of questions that we aren't asking. And being diagnosed with a condition, unless it's a genetic condition, is not an answer. It's just a name for a condition that they don't have an answer for. One of the ones I hate more than anything is fibromyalgia. I cannot tell you, I know so many people that are diagnosed with fibromyalgia, and myself was included in that. And the truth is that it's kind of a dumping ground. There are people that have fibromyalgia, but it's a dumping ground for symptoms that they can't super explain. So everyone and their mom ends up having it, when the truth is that everybody's system is so hyper and so overwhelmed that everything hurts because everything is on alert. So the littlest touch just throws it over, right? My point is with all of this that if we can back off of these things, if we can find balance and control with some of those things, then we can really make a difference in your life, whether it's with pain management or whatever. And coming back to weight with it, because that was kind of a tangent that I didn't expect to go on, but coming back to weight with it, it's not always your fault. This weight is very much a symptom of things that are going wrong in your body, and it's not necessarily the things that you're putting in it that are the problem anymore. I mean, maybe it was initially, or I don't know, you know, but it's not necessarily the problem. It is a symptom. We are treating it as though it is the problem, but it's not. And so by trying to harp on it so much, it's so discouraging. And then the last little piece of this, because this is actually going a little bit longer than I expected, hating yourself for those things is worse than the weight. And I know that that's really hard, but I can tell you that every single person that I know that struggles with this, that they apologize for their weight. And they apologize to me all the time, you know, well, laugh it off. Oh, well, you know, if I could just lose weight, or, you know, just like brush it off with some sort of, just some sort of glib comment. And you don't have to apologize for something that you can't super control. And a lot of doctors who are on the cutting edge of these things are telling you the same thing, that we've been lied to, and it's not, and you beating yourself up, you hating who you are, hating to look in the mirror, because I know that some days I really struggle, it's really disheartening with how hard I try, and I know you probably can relate. You don't owe anyone an explanation. You don't have to hate yourself. And body positivity in this capacity is not to say that weight is not a comorbidity, or that weight is not something that predisposes you to those things. I see a lot of posts lately that talk about how can you be body positive and have weight on in the age of COVID, and you are contributing to the problem, because body shaming somebody doesn't help anything. These people already know that they're struggling with this, and you have no idea why. You have no idea why. And I can tell you this, I am healthier now than I've ever been. And I can't get weight off to save my life. I can't figure it out. And I have had doctors turn me away because they can't figure out what's going on with me. Why this won't fix. So I guess I'm saying two things. If you are the person that's body shaming somebody, back off, because you don't know. Just like the same things that we were talking about with some of the masks and stuff like that. Like, I understand if you take one side or the other, you do you, but you yelling at somebody or whatever for them not wearing it, you don't know if that person has COPD or was chronically abused or something and can't handle that on their face or whatever. Same thing with weight. You have no idea how hard that person tries, and I can pretty much guarantee you that they're not like kicking back and saying, I love being this weight, and if I could choose to be this weight, I'd be this weight. They may have body positivity so they don't hate themselves when they wake up in the morning, and you telling them that is cruel. And for you who is struggling, there are definite ways we can improve your health. And I'm not even necessarily talking about weight. I'm talking about all of the factors that are related to the things that you're going through. Let's talk about the biomechanical, how your brain is functioning, your pain levels. And the weight will figure itself out, because ultimately it's a symptom to a problem. Let's find a problem, I might not be the answer, but at least I can tell you that I understand what you're going through, and I am determined to find something, for you, for me, something. I guess that's really my message with some of this. It's really a very hard topic for me, and I'm very frustrated with where I'm at with things, but I also know that I am smart, and I am capable, and I am beautiful, and this is not a poor me message. This is for you who I know is struggling, and I want you to understand that the things that I tell you are from my heart, because I know what that's like. And beyond that, don't hate yourself. It's so much worse for you than any of the weight you could put on. Anyways, I hope that helped, because it was a hard conversation for me to put on the internet. But in the meantime, I definitely get adjusted, because it's very, very good for you. And neurological functioning, super important. And in the meantime, if you have any questions, or are you struggling with the same things or whatever, by all means, reach out. Let's talk. I get it. I'm here to support. And even if I don't have the answers, maybe we can work together to find solutions, because that's the only way that these things get better, All right, guys. Thanks for listening. This was a very long video. I don't do that often, but yeah, have a good one.